Hello, it's now time to dive into Project 2. Project 2 is a pretty robust project, but I wanted to take a few minutes and walk it through with you because if you look at the instructions, you might get a little overwhelmed. And so please listen to this video because many of these things are the same thing over and over again. So it's just not, please don't get overwhelmed with it. It's a lot of cutting and pasting and modifying once again, okay? Project 2 is a project that's graded. Please look at your syllabus for what it's worth and ensure that you understand that when you go into it. Project 2 is something that you're going to be given a couple weeks to do. But please look at the due dates on what's due and when throughout these couple of weeks. The last thing you want to do is wait till the last minute to get started with this. There is quite a bit here. Yet, I believe if you gave it, some attention, maybe a little bit every day or every other day, you would get done with this quite easily and actually be pretty impressed with what you accomplished. So what is Project 2? As I mentioned before in previous videos, now it's time to kind of get into really building a more robust application, and we're going to spend Project 2 and the final project in doing so. Why? Well, I want you to walk out of here with a lot of confidence in database application programming. And I also want you to walk out of here with a nice portfolio that you can use, like I said, in your interviews, co-op-wise and permanent-wise. Also, I want you to walk out of here with a lot of functionality that you'll be able to utilize in future courses throughout our curriculum. So what are we going to do here? Well, if you kind of read through this, there's 9 steps, I believe, right? Yes, I have 9 steps in here, okay? And for the most part, what you're going to do if you want to visualize this, and you can design this, and I will help you okay it, is that you're going to create an application at startup, a form is going to pop up, which is going to ask what type of user you are. Are you a customer, a pilot, are you an attendant, or are you administration? And so I might need to make those singular for us. And so and based upon that, you're going to now take it to a main menu. All right. It's sort of like a login, and we'll get into logins a little bit later on in the course. But right now, all I want you to do is identify what the type of user is going to be using the application. So you can do a drop down, a combo box with this. You can do radio buttons, whatever it is you want to do, just do that. Not too hard, right? So based upon the selection you're going to send them to another form. If it's a customer, you'll send them to, if the customer is chosen, allow them to select from the combo box their name, okay? And so what should happen is another form will pop up, okay, that will allow the customer to choose their name, and then based upon that, you will now have the customer that's actually using the application. What I recommend is that you grab, based upon them finding their name, okay, you grab their ID, which we have done before, and use it in different spots, correct? So you grab their primary key, and then what you should do is probably save that primary key to a global variable. Hopefully you remember global variables, and those are defined in a standard module. You can utilize the current standard module you have for utilities, or you can actually create another standard module in which you're going to keep these particular keys. You'll do this one for customer, you'll have one for pilots, and so on, okay, and attendance. Does that make sense? And all you really need to do is just say public in the standard module, public, and the name of the variable. And you can set that variable anywhere in your application. All right? Then once you finish that, you're going to go to the customer main menu. The customer main menu is going to have these pieces: update customer profile, add flights, show past flights, show future flights. So in regards to this, update customer profile, you've kind of done that already with your update. The only difference is going to be you're not going to be choosing a customer anymore in your update. So you'll take that functionality off, and all you're going to do is utilize the primary key that you have in your public variable to update it. So it should have the same look and feel of what you already have done. All you got to do is remove the combo box, and then when you do the update, you're going to base it on where it's equal to the public variable. Does that make sense? So once again, that shouldn't take you very long. So that's why I'm trying to walk through this with you a little bit so you get an idea and you go, oh my God, there's so much work to do. I don't think there's a lot here. I mean, there's a little bit, but there's not a lot. I think you should be able to get these get through these first ones relatively quickly. Okay, if you spend some time, an hour or so, right? Adding a flight. Make sure that the T flights table it has the. I'm sorry. Yep, there we go. Add flight. You should be able to. What we want to do is allow the customer to add a flight. Okay, to his schedule. Based upon the videos to show you how I'm adding. I added a student to a course. This is how you would add it to a flight. So it'll be a very simple couple of combo boxes. Well, basically, you just have a combo box for the flights. Press enter, and now they're added to the flight. All right. Show past flights. Basically, it's a select statement. You're going to show all the flights they've taken prior to the current date. Okay. You may want to go out and research a little bit. I actually will force you to maybe do a little research to figure out how can you figure out current date in SQL. And so you may want to Google how to how to query based upon a current date in SQL. It's pretty simple. It'll pop up real fast. You'll go, oh, that's how you do it. And it's actually a pretty cool thing. All right. Show future flights. So I'll show all flights that are actually beyond the current date. And that basically all you're going to be doing is writing a select statement and then go from there. Okay. So you'll be joining a couple tables and so on to show these things. That is for the customer. For the pilot, same type of thing. You're on the if you choose a pilot on from the this form right here, the pilots will come in, and the pilots will come in. I'm sorry, where am I at here? There's the add flight, and if a pilot is chosen, same type of thing. Pick the pilot, save it off to a standard module. I'm sorry, save the global variable to a standard module. In the pilots, it's update pilot, same type of thing. Should be a lot of cutting and pasting, correct? From your customer right over there, just make it for the pilot. Show past flights, show future flights. And so they're almost the exact same thing for the customer you're going to do for the pilots. You're just going to do it for the pilots. You're going to be joining a couple different tables in there, okay? The attendance is the exact same thing as the pilots, except you're going to be joining a couple different tables in that piece, okay? All right, so hopefully once again, I know there's a lot of words here, so I was trying to be very detailed when I wrote this, but the hope is that you see that there's a lot of duplication with that. There'll be a lot of forms to this project, but once again, if you just take your time, cut it, paste, and modify, a lot of it's the same code, just modifying it to different tables for different and so on. All right, the administration page. A little bit different with that, where you're going to manage pilots, so you can actually add a pilot and delete a pilot, and add pilots to future flights. And so, kind of what we did with the customers. So we're adding a pilot. You already added, I believe, in your previous assignments, you've added customers or passengers and so on. In this case, you're going to add a pilot, and so it should be a form to be able to add a pilot and all his information, right? Delete a pilot, you've already done that. You haven't deleted a pilot, you deleted a passenger, I believe. And with that, the code should be relatively the same. Adding pilots to future flights, we kind of did that in the customer piece when we added customers to flights. So we're just going to say the pilot is going to be the one flying this plane. You just got to ensure you're inserting that into the correct tables. And I actually think I gave you the tables right there, okay? The exact same thing for attendance in the manage attendance. So you're going to add an attendant, delete an attendant, and assign attendance to future flights. Okay. The final piece is the statistics. So a little statistics button in which you're going to write some aggregates. Nothing too bad. Total number of customers. I should say passengers here. I'll update this. Total number of passengers, total flights taken by all passengers, average miles flown for all passengers. In a list box, it lists each pilot and his or her total miles flown. So you're going to list all pilots in a list box, and you're going to accumulate all their total miles they have flown. Okay, previously, if they have not piloted a flight yet, it should be 0. Same thing for the attendant. All right. In this particular situation, I'm splitting this up over the 2 weeks. 1, 2, 3, and 9 at a minimum would be due during the first week. We'll put some dates there for you. And 4, 5, 6, and 7 should be at the end of the 2 weeks. The goal there is to get you working on this, and again, not waiting to the last minute to get started. So do a little bit each week, and you'll get through this, I think, quite quickly. And when you get done, you'll have a pretty robust CRUD application program. Once again, we'll keep building on this a little bit and add to it, especially in the final project. If you have questions, of course, ask your instructor.